Okay, well, here we are. We are live. There's no intro music, there's no cue cards. It is just all me doing this Repro report. So, I'd like to welcome you to the Repro report, your go to source for real reproductive information, insight, and news from around the world. I'm your host, Reverend Erica Ferguson, and every Sunday I bring you the top stories, relatable analysis, and candid interviews with people whose perspectives are as diverse and complex as our own. Here at the Repro Report, we understand that reproductive news can be complicated, overwhelming, and seemingly endless. It's tough to care about everything all the time, which is why we're here to help you sift through the noise. Our mission is to provide a nuanced yet accessible understanding of reproductive issues, making it easier for you to stay informed and engaged. You're going to join me every Sunday at 12 noon Central Time for a weekly roundup, and don't forget to check in daily on the Repro Reality Check, a quick and honest look at the latest happenings, because we believe in reproductive news for regular people. All right, that's the official intro. I want to welcome you to the first episode of the Repro Report. I was pretty excited when I came up with the idea for a reproductive news show, but honestly now I'm just slightly annoyed because I thought I'd be reporting on just the reproductive news. I had no idea I would be talking about how and if the reproductive news even gets reported. Naive, I suppose, but here we are. It's the eve of the anniversary of the Supreme Court decision that ended abortion in this country as we know it. Here in the great state of Texas, where I live, it has had massive ramifications. It's created a chilling effect, and now, as I found out just recently, local and state news outlets are scared to even report on things that are happening. I guess that's what this show is going to be all about. Tomorrow, there's a press conference. I'm hosting. Just check the show notes for when it is, where it is, and what I'll be talking about. There's a bunch of pushback from all of the media outlets here in Texas. So it's all about social media and you sharing, liking, commenting, all the things on this video. So today, here's what's going to happen. We're going to hit the highlights about the 2-year mark of the end of Roe. It's not going to be what you think. We're going to ask some questions about the direction of the reproductive justice health rights movement. I'm going to talk about a young woman from the pro-life movement that I learned about and what she's doing. I know, don't freak out. And I'll share what to expect from this show. I will also include my weekly editorial video blog on the ridiculousness in the reproductive movement. That's it. That's what's happening. I hope you do all the things to make this show grow, and I want to thank you for watching. So let's talk about it. So in Texas, the Lone Star State, where we seem to be very focused on making and creating news, being the center of attention for anything and everything. Well, we're here. And as many people in this country know or have heard or have loved ones in this state, it is damn near impossible to get an abortion here in Texas. It just doesn't happen. Not even if you're near death. I don't even want to go into that. That's for a whole nother episode. But the reality is that women are still getting abortions. They're still getting out of the state because I don't want to tell anybody, but there are like planes and trains and automobiles that allow women to get where they need to go to get the abortion care that they need. I also happen to know, really quite honestly, just an opinion, women are going to get what they need. They're going to make it happen. And there's plenty of people in this country, in this state, in these cities that want to help them get the care and access the services they need. So that's something that I think we need to be talking about deeply, honestly, completely, all the time. But I also want to talk about our opposition. as we like to say in the repro movement. I don't necessarily consider it opposition. I just consider it people with a different point of view, a different perspective, a different desire, and different needs. They just aren't mine. There's a young woman that has been making the rounds of news lately. She is the granddaughter of a very staunch, strong, pro-life family. The patriarch of this family just recently passed away, and I'm sorry for their loss. But before he did that, he handed down everything he knew about strategy, about perseverance, about resilience, about commitment to his granddaughter. And I dare say she has taken the ball and is running with it. And here's what's interesting to me. She's 19, which actually means that she's in it for the long haul. And I'm actually going to mention her website. And I do this because I think it's important that we talk about what the other side or the opposite perspective is doing, because they are doing something right. Her website is called Simple Actions, right? It is a simple pro-life blog, and she has been killing it. She has been killing it. If you go to her website, you will see the merch she has, the stickers she has, the strategy she has for pushing forth her agenda and her narrative. Now, I'm not here to debate whether she should be doing it. I'm not here to talk about whether she's being brainwashed, or that's neither here nor there for the purposes of this show. For the purposes of this show, I want to talk about her strategy, her commitment, and her willingness to just get out there and do it. When you go to her website, what you see is this chick is out there marching, putting pamphlets out, doing door knocking, doing attending pro-life conferences, handing out brochures. I mean, she even has like a magnetic sticker on her car. What I'm talking about with this chick is that she is totally devoted and committed to her cause. And I can't be mad at that. And I actually don't think that we should either, because the reality is the victory is going to go to the people and the movement and the position that is devoted, committed, and consistent. We see that over and over and over again. She does media. She gives away baby clothes. I mean, she is in it to win it. And I just want to point out that in this world, the victory goes to those who learn from their mistakes, stay the course, and start ignoring what anybody else says or anybody else thinks. Now, whether you are pro-choice, anti-abortion, pro-life, whatever position you have, when you take that position and you go to the mat for it, what I have noticed in my 30 plus years in this movement, when you don't let anything get in the way, victory is assured. That's just the way it is. As we like to say in my world, don't hate the player, hate the game. And I think this chick, she is worth checking out just because she has a strategy, she has an idea, and she has a commitment. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the news. We are 24 hours away from the anniversary of the Supreme Court's decision to end abortion care and choice as we know it. It went down to the states after the decision. We anticipated, all of us, whatever side of the aisle you were on, that there would be massive chaos. And to some extent, there has been. But things also have settled down. As we look back over the past 2 years, we can say there have been some great losses, some great gains, a time of challenge, and that is for whichever side you land on in the reproductive movement. And whatever our beliefs are, the reality is that we are all in it together. It's been 2 years, and you will hear over the next 2 days, maybe 2 weeks, lots of rhetoric, lots of posturing, lots of fear mongering, lots of hate. You're going to hear it. The question is, what are you going to do about it? The question is, what does it mean for you in your everyday life? Now, we all know the news is overwhelming. It threatens to drown us in its insistence that we pay attention to it. But I think that for the last 2 years, we have all been paying attention to reproductive health, rights, and justice. No matter what side you are on, no matter what your perspective is. And this next 2 years, there is no indication whatsoever that there's any great miracles that are going to happen. What will happen is that the conversations that we have with each other in our small circles and with those that may not think like us or carry the same perspective as us, those conversations are the ones that need to happen. They will happen if we choose to make them happen. And I would suggest, as someone who has been working in this movement for the last 30 years, I would suggest they need to continue to happen because that is where change takes place. We may see the impact of that change in policy, in procedure, in new laws, and in fights in the courts. But the way those things happen, well, they happen by conversation, by individual conversations, by relating to people, by listening to people, by considering our own assumptions, our own perspectives, and the way in which we have made a firm stance in our belief system. That's problematic. All of us may know or may consider the fact that in this day and age, if you're not willing to rethink and to refine your thoughts and your positions, then you're basically dying in terms of thought. And I want to challenge anyone listening to this new, slightly chaotic broadcast to rethink your assumptions, rethink your positions, refine your process of relationship building. And I say that because the world that we're trying to create and what is about to happen with major elections happening this year, we are going to have to do things we've never thought we could do in order to create a world that works for everyone. Now, regardless of what we might believe, we do know that the best chance we have for our society is to figure out how to create a world that works for everyone, how we can make things the most beneficial for the most people. And that will probably mean challenging your assumptions and rethinking your position. I don't want to just report on the news. I want to give us something to think about as a result of the news. I do believe that thoughts and beliefs are not contagious. They are not binary. And if you are thinking the exact same way that you did from 15 years ago, then you are regressing in your thinking. And so I'm going to challenge all of us with this next election cycle, with these next few weeks and months as things heat up over the summer, to reassess your cherished beliefs about your position and about what you think you know. I'm not saying go challenge people out in the world. I'm saying challenge yourself. Do your own work so that when a conversation comes up, you can have it from a place of equanimity and a place of curiosity and a place of healed perspective so that we can have a real conversation about what's going down in our society. Okay, I'm getting off my soapbox right now because if we don't get off that soapbox, we are going to be stuck on that soapbox. But I do want to share with you my essays of the ridiculous in the reproductive movement. This is a series of essays that I have been working on for the last 3 years that will probably get me excommunicated from the reproductive health rights and justice movement. But I don't care, because if I'm the villain, but I tell the truth, well, then just get me a cape and mask, because I'd rather be the villain that tells the truth to the movement so that we can change, we can grow, we can develop a refined approach. I'd rather, if you need a target, then here we are, right? So today's essay, today's dialogue, and I am going to just front load it by saying, have at it in the comments section. Pick apart my essay, challenge my presentation. But before you do that, make sure you take a look in your own room. Make sure that you challenge what you think before you write a single comment, because that willingness to rethink before you respond, before you react, that's going to get us the kind of conversations that we need to have. So here we go. Today's essay, Reflections on the Ridiculous Theater of the Reproductive Justice Movement, by Reverend Erica Ferguson. I'm probably going to be excommunicated from the reproductive movement for this essay, but I marvel at the peculiar circus our movement has become. As I write this, I am sure there are many people who have staunch positions in the movement that will consider me a menace to the movement. Nevertheless, the truth remains true. It is precisely because I love this movement that I retain the right to critique it, even if it means becoming the villain of the movement. So let's talk about the current state of the reproductive justice movement, shall we? I can't help but marvel at the time we find ourselves in. There has been talk of us being the bastion of empowerment and advocacy for bodily autonomy. But I think that was marketing, and that we've decided not to go with that. You see, the reality is, it seems like our ship is lost in the fog, unaware of its destination. First, let's cry laugh at the irony of the situation. Here we are in an age where information is at our fingertips, yet misinformation and ridiculous information spreads faster than the next virus. All you have to do is sneeze a word and everyone is saying it. The movement, which once thought that it had cornered the market on supporting folks in making informed choices and respect for all viewpoints, now seems to center on a singular, misguided, self-centered narrative. Yes, I said it. Diversity of thought, question mark? Well, yes, as long as it's one of the thoughts we think you should think, says the movement. It's almost as if someone declared, all aboard the Echo Chamber Express. Then there's the fascinating spectacle of inclusivity, or should I say selective inclusivity. Remember when reproductive justice was about everyone? No, neither do I. It could be because it was never about everyone. And in its current state, it will never be about everyone. The only thing that right now we can say is it feels more like a private club. If you're not echoing the popular opinion in the movement, you might as well be invisible. It's like watching a game of musical chairs where the music has stopped and many are left standing, puzzled and unacknowledged. White men, privileged women, those that are not part of the minority, to the back of the bus. I know, I said it. Oh, and let's not forget the drama. The movement that talks big about being grounded in science and facts now often seems to flirt with sensationalism. Fact-checking is passé, and emotional appeals are the new trend. Who needs evidence when you've got catchy slogans, viral hashtags, right? I'm looking at the bands off our bodies. But the piece de resistance, the real showstopper, is the alienation of potential allies. Once upon a time, the dream now is a nightmare. It was built on a movement that would welcome diverse voices and perspectives. It built bridges across various communities. Now it's as if the drawbridge has been pulled up and the moat is filled with crocodiles ready to get you. You're either with us or against us, they seem to say. Collaboration, that's a relic of a bygone era. In the final analysis, as I take a step back and look at this spectacle, I can't help but reminisce with nostalgia about the days when the reproductive justice movement was a beacon of hope and unity. Actually, I suppose the correct sentence is, I can't help but fantasize about a reproductive movement that is a beacon of hope and unity, sprinkled with realistic flex. It's high time for the movement to take a good long look in the mirror. Maybe then it can find its way back and maybe entertain the idea of real inclusivity, rational thought, and empowering solutions out of the predicament we, those of us working in the movement, have gotten ourselves into. Until then, I'll be the one saying we lost and we should reflect on why. The call is coming from within the house. I'll also have my microwave popcorn, watching this dramedy unfold and doing what I can to piss off our movement enough to warrant change. That's it. This is Reverend Erica Ferguson, perhaps the villain of the movement. Until next time, keep fighting a worthy fight. I'll see you soon.